Welcome back to Small Caps, ladies and gentlemen. Nice to see you all here. And today I am talking with Christopher Gerteisen. He is the CEO of Nova Minerals. They are over in Alaska. The ASX code is NVA. Christopher, thanks for coming on. Short notice. I reached out to you and said, let's get you on Small Caps straight away. And the reason for that is it has been a brutal day for Nova Minerals on the share market, dropping almost 30%. I want to know what your thoughts are on this. Is there anything in particular that is going on? I know you've got a scoping study out. What's that showing? What's your view on what's happened today with NVA?
Right. Great to be with you again, Carrie. Thanks for having us. So the day started off for us internally. It's a positive day, very positive day, releasing this scoping study. We feel all around the results are extremely positive. If you understand it in the big picture, we're playing the long game here. But then as you see, the share price was we got absolutely savaged. Sometimes these things carry, people buy the rumor, sell the fact, but people must not understand the actual big picture facts of what we're dealing with here. So I hope we can clarify some of that today.
Right. Well, let's start with the investment thesis, because that's what I want to get to. Let's just figure out why there has been this movement. And for my audience out there, do your own research, but could be a very good buying opportunity. You've recently done a consolidation with the shares, and so maybe people don't fully understand where the value lies. So let's just explain. The scoping study is out. What are those numbers looking like?
So as I said, broad picture, very positive, almost 400 million NPV, 3-year payback, IRR, 20%. And so people need to understand, Carrie, perhaps the share price took a hit today because people aren't happy with these numbers. Perhaps, they think we're just a one-hit wonder or a one-trick pony. And that's absolutely not the case. What we did today is we called it the starter pit scoping study. Okay. This is a small kernel. And I don't know if it's maybe a great analogy, but imagine a cob of corn, right? Imagine a cob of corn. This is one kernel in that cob of corn. Of course, the cob of corn represents the entire Estelle gold trend, which is behind me here, right? And so, so it's the cob of corn, Kaba, right? There you go.
I reckon that's a very good analogy, because as you say, this is the starter pit, and this is a whole district. So what you're showing now is this is the Korbel Main, right?
Right.
And it's the starter pit.
Right. When you do a scoping study and you want to release all the numbers, you have to focus on just the indicated resources. Okay. And so 75 to 80% of the resources that you're using to report the scoping study have to be indicated status. Now, Korbel Main deposit, of course, is 8.1 million ounces. Only 3 million ounces of that is actually an indicated. And so that's what we're focusing on here in the scoping study. And so because that's where we completed our infill drilling from last year, we're kind of restricted to that area in order to release the scoping study numbers. And so, the Korbel Main deposit has heaps of upside, very huge upside, just with those additional resources that we still need to infill drill to bring into indicated, as well as, of course, it's still open, along strike there. It's currently over 2 kilometers in strike length. So just in the indicated resources in the starter pit area, and just that alone, this is why we're so positive on it, because it's just a stepping stone to something much larger, right? So this year, you look at the upside. This year, we'll continue the infill drilling on Korbel Main, so more of those resources will come in to the next stage, PFS. But most importantly, RPM also will come in to the next PFS stage, which is very high grade. Remember, RPM had that phenomenal intercept, just a world class in the record books by any measure, 132 meters at 10 grams per ton out there, within a larger intercept of 400 meters at 3.5 grams per ton. And so if you look at this current scoping study, look at the sensitivity analysis. This is, if you look at the sensitivities, some of the highest sensitivities, gold price. So just a 10% move in the gold price, right? So at current levels, so we get a 1750 gold price. in a scoping study at current gold prices of 1,900, which is about 10% increase. Our NPV goes from 400, almost 400 million to 600 million. And every 10% increase in the gold price increases that NPV by an extra 200 million, an extra 200 million. So that's one big component. So we believe the gold price, most people listening to this probably believe the gold price is on an upward trajectory. So that's an upside potential for us. The other one is the gold grade, as they always are. Current gold grade, 0.4 grams per ton is what we're mining. So to all the naysayers that said you cannot have a viable project at these type of grades, I think the scoping study proves that you can, considering what we've done with our flow sheet. A big component of that, of course, is ore sorting. And so we've shown that you can take that 0.4 gram material and upgrade it in our scoping study to 1 gram mill feed, right? And so, but nevertheless, the grade is very sensitive. And so even a 10% increase in grade, so going from 0.4 to 0.45 to 0.48, to 0.5 even say, increases your NPV again by 200 million. Okay. So now we talked about RPM.
Let me stop you for 1 second to ask you this. A lot of people would turn around and they won't look at the big picture, Christopher. What they'll be doing is they'll be saying that is a bulk tonnage, low grade, and therefore the numbers may not add up. So do you think that that's possibly where this misunderstanding is coming from?
You'll certainly get a component of that, particularly the people that just do not understand the bulk tonnage type scenario and how profitable and long-lived that these type of operations can be. This is just a starter scoping study, and it's already 15 years, right? It's already 15 years, and that's what we call the starter scoping study. Decades of mine life on these things at the end of the day. And so what we really focused on, are the numbers that are important to us are really those first 3 years of payback period, right? Those are the real important numbers for us, because those latter years in the total 15-year evaluation period, that's all going to change as we continue to upgrade Korbel, find more resources in the Korbel Valley, and bring RPM into the equation. I mentioned that a slight grade increase, 10% grade increase, will increase the NPV by 200 million. We'll enter RPM. We've been discussing RPM. That's a 2 gram per ton deposit. And so when that comes into the equation for the PFS, we have big drilling programs planned out there this year to follow up from that intercept. And that will definitely be included in the next PFS. Will easily increase the grade, the average grade of the mill feed by, 10% makes a big difference, but it'll go up to much higher than that. And so that's all to the bottom line, right? That's all profit. And so at RPM, it's a really beautiful thing, because in the PFS, when we've started those studies now, we're looking at material handling studies. And so what we're looking at doing at RPM is doing a basic level of concentration there, whether it'll be some more ore sorting or something along those lines. And then we're going to do a slurry pipeline. This is what we're going to study, a slurry pipeline to the Korbel plant. Remember, the elevation difference between Korbel and RPM is over 2,000 feet in elevation difference. And so the slurry pipeline will be just all gravity feed, all the way to Korbel to bring that super high grade material, 2 grams plus, into the Korbel plant and pick up that average grade by a lot more than the current 1 gram per ton after the grade control ore sorting. And so very exciting times, lots of upside, right?
How far away are they from each other when you're talking about that slurry pipeline? How far away?
So it'll be 20 miles, 20 miles of slurry pipeline.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. 20 miles. Put it in perspective. There's a project up here in Alaska where they're trucking ore 240 miles to the Fort Knox mill. So, and that's very profitable operation that they're going to be starting up there. So 20-mile slurry pipeline, we figure, this is all back of the envelope. We figure about 10 million extra CapEx to put that in place. And that's all just upside that'll be coming into the Korbel plant. So you have to look at the scoping study. As a standalone, if we were to start mining today, right? Just today, right now, we were going to start mining Can we make money at 0.4 grams per ton? Can we make money at our using our flow sheet? We've talked about this flow sheet with the ore sorting and the flow sheet and all the different processes throughout the year. What we've done is we said, okay, we've handed it over to independent experts. You say, these are our ideas. We've done the test work, put it all together, compile it. Is it a viable project? And yes, it is. That's what we've shown today. It's a viable project as a standalone operation at Korbel Main. The rest that we've been talking about is pure upside. And that's what we'll be showing in the PFS coming out in late 2023, we expect. And that test work has already started. And of course, big drilling campaigns planned for this year at RPM and some at Korbel as well.
Christopher, it's a big project. It's not multi-element because there's one commodity, it's gold, but it has lots of different elements, if you like, to pull it all together. Perhaps if you would give your view on what else is around you and why you feel that this district, this area is going to deliver good returns for investors going forward, because a lot of our investors understand Australian projects. Now, Australian projects are a little bit different. It can be one mine or one or two mines, and they can be reasonably high grade. It is different in Alaska. So I would love you to explain, I guess, the investment thesis of why Nova Minerals and your project is so compelling and people need to sit up and take notice right now.
This is what you're dealing with when you're talking about a gold trend, Carrie. Okay. It's not one mine. And so the mine life will be decades. We'll be out here for decades out in this area. We have the tonnages, the massive tonnages at Korbel Main. We also have the bonanza high grades at RPM. And in between RPM and Korbel, as we've already shown with the reports of discoveries that we had last year, was at the Stony Shoeshine prospect. Remember, that discovery had 20 to 30 gram per ton rock chips in a kilometer strike length, 500 meters in width. We believe that's another one of these very large intrusive related gold systems, as well as at the Stony prospect, which is a polymetallic stacked vein system. So gold, silver, and copper there, thousands of grams per ton silver in the results there. So we're mainly focused on gold, but we come across these polymetallic systems as well. It's virgin country out here. And so it doesn't require complex, deep searching exploration techniques as you get in a lot of the old, historic gold fields now in Australia. It's old school. It's boots on the ground. Every year we have the geologists out there kicking rocks, and they're just making more and more discoveries, and we expect more of those to follow. And so what we'll be out here is we'll be creating a whole new gold camp, a gold district, right? It's a gold district. And so expect decades of mine life. If you're into the mine life and returns over decades, that's the type of opportunity that Nova presents. It's not just a short term, and who knows what else we'll find out there. High grade at RPM, big tonnages at Korbel, a flow sheet that we know now works, right? It works. That's what the scoping study has shown. And numerous discoveries in between already made, more to come. And so, just to go back to today's absolutely savage, brutal share price. So think about this, Carrie. So if you go to 60 cents, I think it stopped at today. So if you value Nova at 60 cents, that is less. Take cash and cash equivalents out of it. Yeah. That's less than our shareholding in Snow Lake Lithium is worth, right?
Oh,
think
wow.
about that for a while. So what value do you get for the gold that I've just described to you? A big zero. Really? I don't think so. And so there's plenty of opportunists out there right now picking up Nova shares at bottom basement. I was just on the call with some of them, including myself, if I can buy at bottom basement prices right now, buying Nova at 60 cents. And it's a great opportunity. It won't stay there, I don't believe, because you can't value gold and where gold is going at zero, right? I
want you just, if you wouldn't mind, you mentioned Snow Lake, and that's your lithium project. And you're saying that at your current share price, that's the value of Snow Lake alone. It doesn't actually take into account any of your gold. I really wanted to to focus on that a little bit, because I don't think people fully understand. You have a Snow Lake lithium project, which has got value, and at today's share price, that's the value of that. So nothing to do with the 9.6 million ounces of gold that you already have. And you recently said you're not going home until you uncover 50 million ounces. So that sounds like you're pretty confident to grow this resource quite substantially. That's a 5 times growth of your current resource.
Right. So Snow Lake is over 100 million US market cap currently, and they're drilling right now and having great results, extending that ore body that they have. They'll probably double that this year with lithium, and we all know how hot that the lithium is right now, right? So, so our share price currently today, it stopped less than that. That's right. And so that doesn't include 0 for gold, 0 for RPM with a historic intercept, 10 million or 132 meters at 10 grams per ton, a resource out there of 23 million tons at 2 grams per ton for 1.5 million ounces, very high grade ounces. 0 value for that, Carrie. 0 value for a positive scoping study that shows you could have a viable project out there, as some shareholders might not be as happy with the numbers for the starter project as they expected, but nevertheless, you can make a profit off of what we have if we were to start today. But 0 value for all the upside that will be realized this year with the drilling programs to increase the indicated ounces, capture more of that 8.1 million ounces that we have at Korbel, as well as big drilling programs at RPM that'll not only increase, and we expect to double that resource from 1.5 to 3 million ounces, but also get at least half of that into indicated resources of 2 gram per ton material. So we got 0 value on that right now. If you think that's going to stand, then I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. That, like I said, there's plenty of opportunity there for the smart money to take advantage of this situation that we have today.
Now, Christopher, you've been in the gold industry for quite some time. You have a view, I want to ask you a couple of things. But first up, gold for the moment, it's been pretty volatile, kind of like your share price. It's gone up to 1,900. It dropped back below 1,900. I'd really like, because of your knowledge and understanding, what's your view of 2022 and beyond for gold as an investment? I mean, I love the gold miners. That's just me. But I think its time has come. But I want to hear from your point of view, because you've been in this sector for quite some time.
Right. Okay, I'll start with in short. Up and away. So of course, I'm a bit biased, but let me get into more detail of that. So the gold price currently, I think, hovers around 1,900. Pretty good, pretty good support around 1,900, dips above and below. The technical details of it, I'll leave that to the likes of Egon von Greyers and Peter Schiff's. But look, we all know that the fiat currency that has absolutely no backing. How long do fiat currencies last, right? How long do these currencies last? 50 years, 70 years. The current US dollar regime has gone way longer than I believed, than many people have believed. We all know that gold is, it's been around since the beginning of time, 5,000 years. It's been money before, it's money now, and it will always be money, right? And so Nova is in the business of producing gold, let's say it a different way, to print money, and lots of it. And that's what we're on track to do here. And so I have no doubt, right? I have no doubt, me personally, take it for what it's worth, that gold, regardless of what the price is in fiat currency, in the toilet paper currency, whether you do it in US dollars or Aussie dollars, I have no doubt that the intrinsic value of gold will always be there. Will always be there. I like cryptos too. I love the concept, but what if the power goes out? I always wonder that. So whether you're into cryptos or not, sure, go for it. But I think gold is the only stable, real money that will take us, that stands the test of time. And so you better have a little bit, whether it's underneath your mattress, buried in your backyard, or hedged through a good exploration mining stock like Nova Minerals. So have a look at the opportunity that's presented itself with the current share price movements in Nova Minerals.
The main thing I got out of our conversation today, apart from the very positive scoping study, Chris, was also the fact that there is no value attributed to the gold assets within Nova Minerals. It's quite
today.
Fascinating. Guys, you just really need to understand what Christopher mentioned about that. Their Snow Lake lithium, which they've got an exposure to, is actually the value of the company right now. So there is zero value against any of this gold district that they're uncovering right now. Christopher, we're running out of time. You know what I always do, which is I want 3 reasons, and I know you've probably got about 10, but I only want 3 reasons why our investor audience that's sitting and listening to you right now, they should be sitting up and taking notice of Nova Minerals ASX code NVA right now.
Okay. Positive scoping study. We can make money today with what we have. All the upside that I've explained with the big drilling programs that we have coming online this year, right? RPM, one of the most world record intercept out there, 132 meters at 10 grams per ton, coming into the PFS, which will be released late next year. All this upside across the Estelle gold trend. Also, in the short term, like today, tomorrow, what's happened with the share price today with this absolutely savage, brutal breakdown, have a look at it. Zero value for our gold assets, zero value. To us, internally, and the company, bump in the road, right? A blip on the screen for us. We are moving forward full steam ahead, regardless of share price ups and downs. But for the average investor, have a look. And I think it's a great opportunity as this share price recovers over the days and weeks to come here.
Christopher Gerteisen, I really appreciate you coming on board at short notice and having a chat to me. Ladies and gentlemen, as you just heard from Christopher, it was a very positive scoping study. There is, quite frankly, no value attributed to the gold. This is a trend and a district that is continuing to grow. And as Christopher said recently, he ain't going home until he's got 50 million ounces. So
I might have to revise that up, bring that up a bit now with what we've got.
Go on then.
RPM.
What? Okay, give me a new number then. I'm writing it down.
Let's go 60. Let's go 60.
Righto, you heard it from Christopher today. He's not going home until he's getting to 60 million. That's 60 million ounces. That's a big project, big upside.
Look, Kerry, I will say this. This year we'll definitely crack the 10 million ounce range. You know, we're so close to it. So we'll definitely be going over 10 million with all the drilling programs we have planned this year at RPM and Korbel. And so we'll definitely be into that 10 to 12 million ounce range minimum by the end of this year. I will say that for sure.
All right. Well, there's plenty of news to come, Christopher. We'll bring you back on for a shorter interview in the near future when you've got some more of these news and these nice high grade zones, but also Korbel coming on stream. Well done, you. Appreciate your time today. And ladies and gentlemen, go check them out. ASX code is NVA. Thank you, Christopher.
Thanks, Kerry. Thanks for having us.